Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again today. I'm so excited to have Sheri Ryland with us, our resident therapist. And truly, for me, mental health, the journey through life with the guide of a gifted and talented therapist is just incredibly powerful and for me, very, very needed. So I love that we have Sheri on this show regularly and that she does help us navigate relationships, holidays, you name it. And today we're going to dive into some critical parts of relationships, and she's going to talk to us about that. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah.
So today I want to talk about this idea of relationships and how we survive them. Because so I'm going to come from the perspective, or this comes from the perspective of the Gottman theory, which is when they started this theory, they did, I'm not sure how many years, but multiple years of research where they had people come in and talk about and watch them fight and work through the relationships and figure out what worked and what didn't. And they came up with this idea of what they call the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse of divorce. Very dramatic, right?
Those are all really big words that don't connect for me.
Exactly. So the apocalypse, because we all think about like the end of the world of getting divorced, right? Or breaking up, or no longer being in a business relationship with somebody. They all seem like the end of the world to us, right?
They do.
So
They do.
this idea connects with all of them, but I'm going to come from the concept of just relationships, right? Marriages, intimate relationships like that. But so when you're in a relationship, these are the 4 things that they say as a couple. If you do, then you're on your way to divorce.
Well, actually, I was listening to him because of you. And he said through all those studies that he, and I can't remember the gentleman he did the studies with, but that they could predict, I think it's something like 93 or 95% who was going to get a divorce.
Right. Him and
after
his
they had
wife
worked
did this together. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Exactly. It is crazy, right? Because if you think, once I say them, you're going to understand, right? So I want you to think about in your relationship, if you think about these words that I'm going to say and how they affect you in your relationship, right? So the first one is criticism. Right. So it's not just saying, I'm going to tell you or complain about what is wrong. It's saying you are the worst person, right? It's telling you that you as a human being suck, right? You as a
really
person
not landing well for me.
No, right? So if
just the words make me get ready to fight.
So when your partner says to you, when criticizes you, what do you then get into? What kind of what happens to you after that? How do you feel?
Yeah, I can answer that very directly based on a fight about a week ago. I'm in a relationship right now that is, like I said, I'm getting married again.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And this relationship is so completely different than the relationship I had with my husband for all those years. And I think I respond very differently because Jack, my partner, soon-to-be husband, he's a big personality, and he sometimes does come across abruptly, critically. And at this point in my life, part of it is surviving a lot of losses, business and personal. I have become a fighter, which in some ways is good. I'm not letting anybody roll over me. I fight more than I have ever fought, but my fight is not fair these days. Like, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to sling some ugly stuff back at you.
Right.
And what happens between his and mine, we've created just nuclear war between us.
Okay. So you're feeling defensive, right?
Oh,
so that's
beyond defensive.
That's the next one, right? So when you're criticized, you're like a rat in a corner, right? You want to attack.
No, I'm coming out fighting.
Right. So I'm going to fight back, because not only am I defending myself against that person in front of you, I'm now defending myself also against my dad or whoever else spoke to me that way.
All those childhood wounds, every time you've been abused or put down.
Right.
And all the years of my life with James, that didn't come forward, but it is front and center now.
Okay. Right. So those things, those wounds are now being
Yeah.
pushed really hard, right? So you're going to be defensive. You're backed into a corner, which is also on you. Both things need to, like, for you, right, to being able to change that defensive stance. So they all have what we call antidotes, but we're going to go through the idea of first
Okay.
that criticism, we don't feel good when we're
Mm-mm.
criticized, so we're going to be defensive.
Yeah.
And then the next one is stonewalling. So if we're having a conversation and I'm asking you for an answer and you're just saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't want to talk to you. I don't understand this. I don't want to be part of this. Right.
I don't want to see your face right now.
Right. Exactly. So we always say, like, the idea is to be able to take a breath and walk away, but that's
Right.
not the same thing, right? Stonewalling is, I'm not going to have this discussion. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
I've given up. I don't want to talk about it. So that one doesn't work. We're not solving any problems. And then we go to contempt. So if I feel that you hate me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also go back to defensiveness, right?
Right.
If you think of me so badly as a person, then why do you want to be with me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's hits a really hard point. So all of those, putting them together, they all kind of happen in the same moment. But if you, instead of criticizing, like, being able, because do you feel that you're supposed to be able to have a say about how somebody behaves, or be able to complain about what's happening in your relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Right. But do I have to say it as you are
No.
you are the biggest jerk and I can't stand you?
No.
No.
No, I do not have to say it that way, nor does he have to say it that way. I totally hear what you're saying. I think where I get, I'm at least a little bit worked out, is I might get really angry and sling back, but I do walk away and then I'm sorry. Then I want to walk back in and say, okay, I don't like the way that went down.
Okay.
I really want us to be okay. I really want us to talk about this.
Right.
So I don't stonewall. I do the first two really badly, but maybe the first one, third one, I'm not so bad about.
Okay. So instead of doing the criticism, right? Instead of saying, I don't like you as a person, it's more complaining in the sense of saying, I feel, right? We're going back to I statements.
Mm-hmm.
So if I feel that my feelings were hurt, it's valid, right? And I should be able to say, I really feel sad when I hear you speak like that to me.
Well, and as a woman, I'm in a relationship where I fight very hard when I feel like I've been demeaned. That's a big.
So you're defensive.
I'm defensive if I feel like you've been demeaning in language or the way you treated me in front of someone else or in a business decision together. If you've demeaned me or made me second instead of a partner, I get very defensive about that.
Okay. Well, and that's right, because you felt criticized and now you felt defensive. So sometimes when your partner is actually just complaining about something that they're feeling about what you did, right? They're saying that hit something in them, that they're feeling upset. They're feeling, so if they're able to tell you in a way of, I don't like it when you do that. It makes me really sad. It hurts my feelings. I feel disrespected. And then that way you can come back and say, you know what, I can take responsibility for my piece of that. Right. So the antidote to that is taking responsibility. It's saying that, you know what, you're right. My words were hurtful. Yeah. So taking responsibility for that allows you to get out of that defensive, I didn't say that, right? And so when we feel like we have to defend ourselves, we are going to get further into that criticizing way. And then so when we get into stonewalling, instead, we're going to say, you know what, how about we give each other 10 minutes?
Oh, I like that.
We need to walk away. We're going to come back to this. But right now I'm feeling too hot right now. I'm feeling too angry. Right. How about we come back?
Right. I mean, that's a lot of self-control, but I think it's amazing.
Right.
And so let's wrap up this segment. What's the fourth of the?
The fourth is contempt. So that goes back to the same thing of being able to say, I'm going to choose my words in a different way. Right. So when you're in the back of your brain and you're in that like reptile way of responding to things, you're in a toddler mode, you're not able to connect with the front of your brain where you're making logical decisions and making good. So if you start off saying, my purpose is not to win this fight, because there's no winners. My purpose is to be able to share how I'm feeling, and then be able to say, because I personally don't feel this way. I don't like what's happening here. It's not that I don't like you, it's that I don't like what's happening, and I need for us to be able to discuss it. So I'm not going to use hurtful words. I'm going to explain that this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to continue this. There's like so many places
Yeah,
I want to
we could
go with
definitely
it.
get into a lot of, but it all comes down to connection. I think everything is about connection, and we'll discuss that.
Oh, I love
Next
that.
time you come in, we'll discuss it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for listening to us dissect the things that work and don't work in relationships. And I'm learning so much as I sit here with Sheri Ryland. And we'll save where we're going with this for next time.